Robert Kiyosaki warns of the next recession, and this is what he advises us. I knew this day would come, and we as a world have never been here before, so it's a strange moment and is probably the deadliest period ever. Robert Kiyosaki, a well-known entrepreneur, investor, and best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. For many years, he has been warning people about the impending economic calamity known as the Great Reset. Kiyosaki says that the global economy is on the verge of a catastrophic upheaval, and individuals should brace themselves for the worst. And I guess we are going to have a very ugly few months in terms of market and economy. So, what exactly is the Great Reset, and why is it so important to Robert Kiyosaki? What comes next, and most importantly, what he advises us? In this video, we'll look into Kiyosaki's thoughts on the subject and talk about the numerous situations that could play out in the future. So without any further delay, let's get into the video. To begin, it is critical to recognize that the Great Reset is not a novel concept. It refers to a worldwide agenda aimed at reshaping the global economy following a catastrophic crisis. The concept was first introduced in 2011 by Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, but it gained traction in 2020 during the COVID-19 epidemic. According to Kiyosaki, the Great Reset has a political as well as an economic objective. He believes that the world's elites are utilizing the crisis to advance their globalist agenda and solidify their power. He also points out that the Great Reset is not just about resetting the economy, but also about resetting society as a whole. One of Robert Kiyosaki's main concerns about the Great Reset is the growing government control over people's life. He claims that the government's response to the pandemic has been to impose stringent lockdowns, close companies, and limit people's travels. He feels that these steps are only the start of a wider plot to control people's lives and limit their liberties. Kiyosaki also cautions about the potential financial consequences of the Great Reset. He forecasts that the world's economy will enter a phase of hyperinflation in which the value of money will rapidly decline and prices for goods and services will surge. This scenario could result in people's savings being worthless and their purchasing powers plummeting drastically. So how should people prepare for the Great Reset? The solution, according to Robert Kiyosaki, is to be financially informed and diversify one's revenue streams. He believes that people should put their money into assets that produce passive income, such as real estate, equities, and enterprises. He also recommends that people invest in assets that retain their value through inflationary periods, such as gold and silver. Kiyosaki also advises people to get out of debt and to rely less on the existing financial system. He claims that banks cannot be trusted and that people should not store all of their money in banks. Rather, he advises consumers to invest in assets outside of the regular financial system, such as Bitcoin and offshore accounts. He contends that digital currencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum could play a big role in the global economy's future. He believes that these currencies offer a decentralized and secure alternative to traditional fiat currencies, which are controlled by central banks and governments. Kiyosaki, on the other hand, warns that digital currencies are very volatile and speculative, and that investors should exercise caution when investing in them. He recommends that people educate themselves about digital currencies before investing, and that they only invest what they can afford to lose. So it is pretty obvious. Robert Kiyosaki's concerns regarding the Great Reset should not be dismissed lightly. He believes that the global economy is on the verge of a severe disaster and that people should brace themselves for the worst-case situations. His advice to be financially educated, diversify income streams, invest in assets that provide passive income and retain value during periods of inflation, and lessen reliance on the old financial system is sound. The Great Reset has the potential to cause enormous changes in the global economy and society as a whole, and it is critical that people understand the potential risk and opportunities. The COVID-19 epidemic has already caused enormous economic harm, and the crisis's aftermath could bring even more economic hardship. It's important to note that not everyone agrees with Kiyosaki on the Great Reset. Some claim that the agenda is required to solve the global economy's underlying challenges and promote a more sustainable and equitable future. Regardless of one's feelings about the Great Reset, it's critical to be prepared for the potential consequences and to take precautions to protect one's financial well-being. Aside from the financial repercussions, the Great Reset might have huge social and political consequences. Individual liberty and civic liberties may be jeopardized if the government gains more influence over people's lives. People must remain vigilant and hold their governments accountable for their actions. Finally, Robert Kiyosaki's warnings about the Great Reset should serve as a wake-up call for people to take charge of their financial futures. The global economy is about to undergo considerable upheaval, and individuals must be prepared for the worst-case situations. People can protect themselves and their families from the potential risk and uncertainties of the Great Reset by becoming financially educated, diversifying income streams, investing in assets that retain their value during inflationary periods, and reducing reliance on the traditional financial system. So that's all for today. If you found this video interesting, please share it with a friend. Continue to subscribe to this channel for videos about investing, business, the stock market, and other finance-related topics.